Okay, dear students, dear viewers, welcome to this presentation on Graduate Research Seminar 1. Graduate Research Seminar 1 is a course unit intended for students doing Masters in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies here at Mountains of the Moon University. The course facilitator is Dr. Mark Kahwa, and I'm a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Education at Mountains of the Moon University. So you're most welcome to this lecture, and enjoy the listening, enjoy the presentation. So by the end of this course unit, students and any viewer is expected to be able to prepare conceptual and researched academic papers, but also should be able to state and explain the different types of publications, and also should be able to prepare a good manuscript that is acceptable for publication. I know when we talk of preparing a good manuscript, I know that this is something that normally disturbs young researchers, something that disturbs students. And I know you must be wondering, how can one prepare a good manuscript? How does a good manuscript look like? What does one need to include in a write-up in order for that write-up to be a good manuscript, a manuscript that is acceptable for publication? So of course there we talk of a publication being acceptable. I mean a paper being acceptable for publication, because when you submit your manuscript to a journal, you always expect different responses. And one of them is that your paper is acceptable for publication, but also you can receive a response that your paper is rejected. Quite often many manuscripts are rejected. Maybe it can be accepted with major corrections, or it can be accepted with minor corrections. But for us here, what we are saying is that after taking you through this course unit, you must be able to prepare a good manuscript that is accepted the first round. So in this course unit, we shall look at the skills in writing research papers. We shall look at the publication process. We shall look at the importance of publishing. We shall look at the types of publications. We shall look at what is a good manuscript. We shall look at the peer review process, revision and response to reviewers. How does a student revise a manuscript, and how does a scholar respond to the reviewer's comments? Then we shall also be able to look at the copyright law and the plagiarism, and also the ethical issues in research. So we shall look at those aspects. Once we look at those aspects, then you'll be good to start writing good manuscripts, which manuscripts can be accepted for publication first round. So, dear viewers, dear students, we are looking at academic writing. And in this course unit, the Graduate Research Seminar 1, the focus is on academic writing. Academic writing is quite different from the usual writing that students normally do. We are aware that students at different levels of education, they are always assessed through writing. They write assignments, class assignments, they write courseworks, they write in examinations. So students are always engaged in writing. and quite often they are assessed through what they rate. But particularly in this course unit, we are looking at academic writing. So, academic writing, we are saying that the students need to be clear about the basic components of the written text. And this unit, this course unit, the Graduate Research Seminar 1, provides an introduction, provides not only an introduction, but even a detailed explanation of what we mean by academic writing. So, this academic writing, what is it? As I have already said that writing is not a new concept. We are always writing. From the time we joined school, pre-primary, primary, secondary, universities, and other tertiary institutions. So, writing is not something that is new. But now, the emphasis in this course unit is to look at academic writing. Now, academic writing is different from the normal writing that we are accustomed to, because it is here you are required to use a formal style of writing. A formal style of writing that is used in universities and in scholarly publications. Now, you will encounter it in journal articles. You will encounter this academic writing when you are writing books, when you are writing book chapters, when you are writing conference proceedings, when you are writing any work that is to be published. So, and you'll be expected to write your essays, to write your research papers, dissertations, theses in a certain academic style. So, when we talk of this academic writing, it actually differs from the usual writing that we are used to, because it is formal. It follows certain rules, certain guidelines, certain conventions of writing. And if you don't stick, for example, to a certain structure of writing, if you don't stick to a certain formal way of writing, then your work will be looked as having deviated from the normal way of writing. And that is something that is different, because normally when we are writing, for example, we are writing a courseworks, we are writing class assignments, we are writing maybe end of semester examinations, we don't have those conventions, those rules, those regulations of how to write in a certain way. But once we come to academic writing, you have to know the certain standards, the certain rules, the certain structure in which you have to write. So that is what we mean when we talk of academic writing. Now, when we talk of the academic publishing, we are saying that this is a subset of publishing which distributes academic research and scholarship. So most academic work, of course, is published in journal articles, in books, in thesis, in dissertations. So in academic publishing, a paper is an academic work that is usually published in academic journal. And here we are talking about original research results or reviews of existing results. So this academic writing, we are saying, must be formal. And this is what distinguishes it from the normal writing, from the usual writing that we are accustomed to. So it is formal, because in informal writing is not always understood in the same way by every reader. So here, when we talk of formal, that means we are sticking to a certain structure. We are sticking to certain writing rules and regulations. Now, the writing in academic writing is structured, because the complex ideas need to be controlled, to produce an unambiguous statement. Structured, for example, when you are writing a manuscript must be structured in a certain way. You begin with the title, you put the authors, you put their institutional affiliation, you come to the introduction, and even under the introduction, there are different sub-headings, sub-themes that are supposed to be there. You have maybe a statement of the problem, you have research questions, you have research objectives, you have research hypotheses, then you come to the literature review, and the literature review must be handled, or the literature must be reviewed according to the set objectives. So you review the literature according to each objective. Then we come to the methodology. The methodology still has the method section. It has different sections also you will cover under the method section. You look at the research design, you look at the sample size, you look at the population, the sampling techniques, you look at the data collection methods, look at the data collection tools, look at validity and reliability, look at the ethical considerations, look at limitations, and so on and so forth. Then you come to the results section. Now this is where now you are going to present the detailed findings of your research. Come to conclusions, then you come to recommendations, come to implications, areas for further research. So you can see that it is structured. Then it must be precise. It must be precise so that you don't include, ideas that are not relevant to the study. It has to be appropriate so that it communicates to its audience in the most effective way. So that is what we call, in a nutshell, that's what we call the academic writing. So it is different from the usual way of writing. So therefore, dear viewers and students, after making that kind of an overview of what we mean by academic writing, let us go for a break, and then we shall be back, and then we shall pick on from there. Thank you.